Yo, what's good? It's your boy Eric Bellinger, and right now I'm hanging out with my family, Rob from Front Row Live. Keep it locked. It's easy.
What's up, guys? Rob here, Front Row Live Entertainment. I am reunited with Eric Bellinger. Man, it's been a long time. Kids were babies, and now I see almost your height.
It's crazy.
That is wild, dude.
Man. 10 years old, 5 years old.
That is wild.
It's balance. All about balance.
Seriously. And I kind of want to dive in and talk about that because
cool.
it's like, you're an artist, then you become a parent.
Yeah.
You're a family man, and
Right.
you're trying to balance the two. But yeah, you're doing a great job doing
Thank
it.
you.
You've been touring nonstop, releasing
Yes.
music.
Yes.
Longevity's there. It seems like nothing got in the way, right? So, but for you personally, like, how were you able to balance all of these like life decisions and just these new experiences?
Man, definitely having a partner. You know what I mean? You see my wife over there too. She holds it down. So when I have a show, when I'm traveling, you know what I mean? She's definitely holding it down at the crib. And she's an actress as well. So when she goes and does her thing, vice versa, I hold it down at the crib and we just kind of rotate.
Yeah. Are you guys like, all right, I'm going on tour.
Yeah.
You gotta stick home,
Like, what's
and
your
then
schedule?
vice versa.
Yeah. We usually trying to go like one at a time.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's dope. And right now you're about to wrap this leg of the
Yes,
tour.
sir.
How has this tour been like for you? What were some of like favorite moments that you kind of had on this tour, and being able to perform this new album
Yeah.
as well?
I think that's been the most fun part. You know, a lot of times I do a tour. It's the same songs. You know, it's the same vibe, R&B. And I think for this show, since we were able to incorporate the Afro beats, it just requires an entire different show. It requires a different layout as far as production. I got dancers now. I'm dancing now. It's just so much more up-tempo, rhythmic, that, it just requires a different skill set that I was able to tap into I didn't know I had.
Yeah, that's dope. And as far as like the Afro beats go, is that something that you kind of had in mind when you were planning, or did you plan to go to Africa because you already had Afrobeat in mind for this album?
Definitely. I wanted to do Afro beats, and I had started working on some joints out here in LA, but something was missing. I was like, hold on, man. I need to go to the motherland. I need to go and, really tap in for the authenticity.
Yeah.
And I was able to link with some fire producers, songwriters that really brought it to life and, gave exactly what I was waiting for.
That's dope. And listening to this record, like, I don't even get a vibe that you're working. I get a vibe that you're on vacation. And it just so happens that you're vibing on music, and this came out. Like,
that's what it is.
It's such a cool vibe.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, no,
what was it like for you during this process? Because I mean, it's kind of hard. You're in this place where it's not LA, where you feel like you have to grind the entire time.
Right. That was the best, honestly, because I was away from home. I was away from distraction. I was away from so many people asking me for favors. I was away from my car. I was away from all of the things that were comfortable that keep me distracted. And when I was in South Africa, only thing that was my comfort zone was the studio.
Yeah.
So we were able to really tap in with, nothing else that mattered. It was like, yo, what we doing? Studio. What we doing? Studio. What we doing? Studio. Strip club. Studio. Restaurant. You know what I mean? Like different things, just to be able to experience the culture as well as just create, So I was actually able to live and hit up the late night food spots, and, it was a vibe.
How did that impact your writing process? Just because, again, it's another experience, it's another vibe. You're focused. So, do you feel that you were able to not only experiment with the Afro beats, but also experiment lyrically as well?
Yeah, for sure, man. I was working on the broken English. You know what I mean? I was working on the patois, everything that that they specialize in that was unfamiliar for me. I was able to tap in and really be a student, rather than a sensei. Normally it's like, what should we do? This time it was like, hey, y'all. Talk to me.
I'm here.
What's the
I'm
approach?
listening.
What's the vibe? I'm listening, and I'm glad I did, because I was able to, hone in on everything that they were doing, but also sprinkle in my natural Eric Bellinger swag too.
Yeah. What was the track that for you felt like you really went out on left field and like tried to be comfortable during that process?
I think Pure. Pure is the intro.
And you opened up with that.
Yeah, see, he already knows. He's tapped in. So basically, when I walked into the studio, the first day one out of the couple weeks I was there, Pure was a song that was on. It was a song they were working on, and the feeling that I felt when I first walked in, I was like, okay, I need the world to feel the same way when they first press play on the album.
Oof. Damn.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
So they had that hook going when I got in, and I just walked in like, "What is this?" So
Yeah, that's a
shout out to the team. Shout out Luke, Elias. Shout out Andre. Graham. Everybody. V Script that really held me down. So many more people.
that's a great intro to this album. And
Thank
for
you.
me, I can't stop going back and putting Shooting Star on repeat. Like that,
Nice.
I think that's a track that talks to
Thank
me the
you.
most.
Thank you.
It's just so chill at the same time, but
Yes.
it's like the guitar melody
Yes.
introduction that you did was just like perfection,
Yes.
dude. Like
No, for
talk
real,
to me a
man.
little bit about that track
Okay.
and like what really
Yeah.
inspired that the process
Okay.
to kickstart it.
So Shooting Star is dope that like that one. That one speaks to you the most. That one's actually like the main single for the album that we've been pushing. Shout out to Oxlade for getting on there and killing it, man. I just remember that record being on and everything we were saying in the studio was let's have breath in between the lines.
Shooting Star. I was like,
Yeah.
damn.
Oh, see that part I just like threw that out. It
I
was
was like,
crazy. They had the verse and I was just like everything that they said it to me, it just sounded like her love is like a shooting star. I
Yeah.
literally just threw it out there,
that was
and
dope.
everybody was like, "Yo!" I think that's what it is too. Piggybacking, like basketball, you pass the ball, you pass the ball, you pass
Yeah.
the ball. This person has one line, this person has another line, and it was dope because we all were creating from a space of respect, and mutual respect, and no egos.
Yeah, it almost made me feel like that Shooting Star section was more of an ad lib. It wasn't even
Yeah.
considered a lyric until
Right.
you were just like in your own vibe.
Yep, we just repeated it, and then after that, we got like an 8-bar break when it's just music and effects. You know what I mean? So we really took it back, and shout out to Phantom for doing that. It was his idea to just have no words. I was like, "You sure?" And I'm happy he did.
Vocally, how did the Afro beats kind of impact your vocals?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you had to like not necessarily relearn how to sing certain
Mhm.
tones or hit certain ranges, but
Yeah.
like, do you feel like it had any kind of impact or
No,
effect?
for sure. I had it. It was some songs that like backtrack. I remember there's a part. It's like you're making me shiver, so come and kill my fever. I don't need like those little.
Yeah, there's a little
like
up and down.
yeah, like that. I was like, what is happening? Get it again. Get it again. Get it again. 'Cause I'm such a perfectionist, but man, they worked with me. They was patient and they, wanted to make sure I got it right too. So, we were all working with one common goal.
Yeah. And you have some dope collaborations on here. I feel like you had to touch base
Yeah.
at and home artists that were
Yes.
already there in your around the
Yeah.
studio or in the studio.
No, for real.
So, what was it about these artists that really spoke to you? Why did you feel like they were important
Yeah.
for this record?
Man, from being, here in the U.S., tapping into a genre that is based in South Africa, I didn't want to just look like I'm just, making the music and, not respecting or paying homage or doing it the right way.
It all makes sense
You
later.
know what I mean? So, you know
It
what I mean?
all
I
makes
was like,
sense
yo,
later.
I can't just do this by myself. We got to call for some backup, so shout out to Conscience. He was the first one that jumped on and did a feature. And when I heard my voice and his verse together, Conscience is a legendary Afro dance hall artist. I was able to hear the collaboration a little bit more, and it even made more sense to me. So I'm like, oh, you gotta have them on the songs with you, because now it's official. You know what I mean? So shout out to Oxlade, Giaki, Taves, V Script, Ricardo Banks, Conscience, Oxlade, Gecko for jumping on the joints. Rotimi's on the deluxe album. You got Young John on the deluxe album that's dropping March 14th. So be on the lookout because I added 5 new songs.
Yeah.
That's just as crazy, if not better.
Yeah, and at the same time, like the title alone, like I feel like this is something that you've been wanting to make for a while. It doesn't feel like
sure.
this is the first time you're stepping into new territory and you
Yeah.
don't know what's going on, right? Like,
Yeah.
so talk to me a little bit about the title versus like the feel that we get as if like,
Yeah.
I've been planning this for years, so
For
this is
years.
why
I'm
it'll all
telling
make sense
you.
later.
So the song Understood, which is the song I've been teasing a little bit, it's the only song I perform on the tour that is not out. That's the next
Okay.
single that's gonna drop this Friday. I did this song 5 years ago. You know what I
Damn.
mean? So this is before, Tyler Water song blew up. This is
Yeah.
before WizKid Essence blew up. This is before Tim's, all of the new songs that she's put out, like Free Mind. I was just loving the sound. You know what I mean? But it was just, I knew it just needed to brew. You know what I mean? I felt like it was a little bit too early with me jumping out and making Afro be the sound that kind of like, or even attempting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, nah, I'm gonna just wait and keep cooking until it becomes more of a thing to where when I do it, I don't feel like, I'm stepping into a territory that I'm not welcome or where I don't
Right.
belong. And I think that's just because I have so much respect for the genre. But
Yeah.
I've definitely been cooking Afro joints for like 5-6 years.
Man, you've been.
Yeah.
How do you hold this? Like,
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Luckily, I got a gang of other joints I've been dropping R&B. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I knew this is something that I just wanted to do, and
Yeah.
that's why I think the title "It All Makes Sense Later" was just perfect. And then part 2 album is "It All Makes Sense."
Yeah.
So it's a 2-part. You got It'll all make sense later out now, and then "It All Makes Sense" will be dropping at the end of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's dope. And Road Timmy, you got that
Yeah.
new single, My Decision,
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
dropped recently. It's the first taste of the deluxe, like you mentioned earlier.
That's right.
So talk to me about this collaboration. The
Okay.
vibe on this video was also
Yeah.
sick. So
Thank you.
talk to me about this collaboration between the two of you. And
Okay.
were you both in the studio together during this process?
So for this song, no, we weren't. But me and Rotimi worked so much. Like I've been working with him for over 10 years now
Yeah.
too, as far as like working with him, as far as co-writing songs together. And I think it was just the perfect timing. You know, he had been venturing off into doing his acting thing for a while, and then he, you know, started focusing again on the music. And I hit him up like, "Yo, I see you back in the studio. Let's get it." And you know, I sent it to him. He sent it right back, and we had this song, "My Decision," before we dropped "It'll All Make Sense Later."
Jeez.
You know what I mean? It was just like, all right, I'm gonna release the songs that I did in Africa first, and then when we came back around to this one, it still sounded fresh.
Damn. I mean, that says a lot about your work.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we said that earlier. The longevity's been real, and
yes,
and it's like everything that you're creating is pretty much timeless. You can drop it today.
Thank
You
you.
can drop
Yeah.
it in 10 years. You can drop it.
that's the test.
Exactly.
That's the test. You know what I mean? It should never
Exactly.
sound old. The only thing it'll sound old is to the ears that heard it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But to the new people that never heard it, it's a brand new song.
Yeah. No, that's dope. And I love the fact that you haven't just been dropping music of your own. You've also
Yeah.
been part of the writing process behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
2011, Better With You with
yeah.
Big Time Rush. Like,
yeah. Wow.
to kickstart it. And like, I'm curious, like when you work with artists like that, where it's like a boy band, like Big Time Rush, like
Yeah.
you went from pop to, I don't know, rap to
Yep.
hip hop.
Yep.
Now you just did K-pop with P1Harmony.
Wow.
Like,
yeah. He's
how does that?
Let's go, front row live.
How does that like really change your way of writing?
Yeah.
Especially because I feel like you really have to like restructure your brain every time
You
you're doing a
do.
new genre.
You do, man. I'm definitely a chameleon. Like when I'm working in each session, I'm catered to whoever it is at the moment. If it's for Chris Brown, I know what we're doing. If it's for Usher, I know what we're doing. Justin Bieber, K-pop, The Game, Selena Gomez. You know, I'm here for an assignment, and I have to be able to tap into not just writing a song, but writing the song that they didn't know that they needed.
Yeah.
The song that their fans were ready for. And it's the perfect pickup off the last single. You know, I'm always doing the research and study to that depth so that when they hear the song that I wrote or the idea that I come up with, they're looking at me like, how did you just do that? And I've been sitting here in the studio. It's like
low key, I'm a fan.
you know what I'm saying? I know your whole life. Like, you know what I mean? I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, I know if you're single, if you're not single, because that's how I'm going to be able to really deliver something that you connect with.
You almost have to be a best friend when it's like
No, for
you
real.
have to know from start to finish everything.
Because if it's like someone that hates love or something, then
Yeah.
you give them a love song, they're looking at you crazy. And it's like,
The next.
you didn't know that? It's like, how was I supposed to know? You was just supposed to know.
But what about with K-pop, with P1Harmony? You did
Yeah.
3 or 4 songs with them.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like K-pop is a world that is now getting more tapped into, but it's
Mhm.
also a world where you don't know what you're walking into at the same
Yeah,
time. So
it's
what
true.
was your experience the first
Yeah.
time, and then afterwards, like
Yeah.
how did that experience kind of change?
So, I mean, like P1Harmony and like I said, anybody else, I'm in there working with them for them. So I'm never just writing at home
Yeah.
and send it. I'm always like, I got to come. I got to be able to pick their brain. I got to be able to see what the direction is so I'm not shooting in the dark. Because if you give me the direction and you tell me what you want, I guarantee I'll nail it.
Yeah.
You know, so I was able to, go to South Africa. I mean, so not South Africa, but I went to South Korea.
Uh-huh.
You know, so I was able to work with the CEO of their label.
Damn.
And it was dope because he knew what he wanted, but he didn't even speak English. So there was a translator there going back and forth, telling him what I was saying lyrically, and they were, telling me his thoughts in English. So, we were going back and forth. They were like, hey, here's a song concept that we would like. The one of them was like a concrete rose. Like the girl is she grew from a concrete, but she's in a rose. But she grew from concrete, but she's delicate like a rose. That's all they say.
Wow.
And then I'm like, okay, let me try to figure that out. And then I write a song. and either they hate it or they love it. But they give me direction, so I'm able to, at least know where the basket is and the rim in the court, as opposed to a pitch black gym.
But at the same time, it's like there's boundaries. I mean, the Korean language doesn't translate the same in English, right? So it's like, did you feel like you had to change the way that you write for this type of music?
Nah, surprisingly, they really like the urban hip hop vibes, so I was able to tap into what I naturally do. And I'm glad that I did, because, sometimes you can go somewhere and try to do what you think they want. But I think I've done enough sessions now to just know, like, they called me here for a reason. So just do what I do.
So having this experience with all these different genres and artists, how does that impact your creative process when it's it's your time to work on your music?
Ultimate cheat code. I get to watch their process. I get to see, like, okay, Usher, I just saw you pick, from 30 beats, one beat. Now I saw the process of writing a song. I saw the process of what's the music video. I saw the process of why this one's the single. And I think by just being a fly on the wall and watching the way that they work, I'm able to apply it to my own artistry. So definitely learned a lot from watching and working behind the scenes with Chris Brown and all those guys, and just made it work for me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, longevity. The first time I met you was at Chris Brown. It was either Chris Brown or Trey Songz 30th.
Yeah,
it was at it was like a whole carnival experience.
Oh, that was Trey Songz' birthday.
Trey Songz. There we go. And then I was talking to them about longevity. Like, what is it? What is the key to longevity? I hadn't talked to you about that, so I'm curious for you. Like, what is your key to longevity? Like, how do you build that success to the point where, like, you can focus on family time, you can focus on anything else, and still be on top of the game?
I think that just comes to yourself, knowing what you want to do and having other ideas. You can't just stay in one box. For me, like, the Afro beat is me, coming anew. I just did a movie. It drops this month, at the end of the month, Soul of a Sister. That's me coming anew. I started a new label. I've signed 12 artists to my label, me coming anew. Recently got into a fitness kick where I'm like, yo, I'm going to change my body. I'm going to transform my body. Did it. You know what I mean? Discipline, work out every day, eat right, drink water. And it's just about you making yourself more appealing and interesting. Otherwise, you could get boring. You know what I mean? So we can either be ready and excited for the next entertainer, or you can give us another version of you so that we can be excited about something, because we've already been looking at the same thing you've been doing for the last 10 years.
That is the truth.
You know what I'm saying? So just switch it up. Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Afro today, curly hair one day, red leather jacket one day, black zipper motorcycle jacket one day. So you just got to switch it up.
You got to keep us on our toes.
Exactly.
Talking a little bit about like the acting world to you learning your music to perform on tour.
Yeah.
How different is that? Like learning your lines versus learning music that, even though you've created it.
Yeah, no, see, the music is easy. I wrote it. I had the beat on loop for 45 minutes while I was coming up with the idea. Acting is completely different. I can't rhyme the words. It's not it's not a rap. So it's like I'm listening and taking totally different beats. I'm learning 12 pages of lines, which is a completely different task, and it forced me to just tap into a different bag and a different skill set. And it's crazy because yesterday I just did another audition for another TV show, and it was new lines yesterday, and I learned them and did it in like an hour. And it's like, how do I do this? I don't even know how I do it, but I just make my mind up and just tap in.
And you're on tour.
And on tour. Jeez. We were in the green room doing lines. You know what I'm saying?
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is wild. But again, it's like, it's a reason why. It's a proven reason why you've been doing this for such a long time.
Yeah,
it's like you can be sleeping and things are still happening.
Exactly. That's true. I'm sleeping and streams is coming, man.
Going back to this album, the deluxe version that's dropping March 14th.
Yes.
As far as these upcoming songs that are about to drop, which of those songs would you say like was a different kind of experience for you? Maybe sonically you did something from scratch that you haven't done before. How was that challenge and how did you overcome it?
Let me see. The new joints we got, I would say Tunnel Vision. Maybe Tunnel Vision is one.
Another opener.
Yeah, that's another one. It's crazy because someone sent it to me, the whole song from beginning to end.
Man.
And it's rare that I just cut an entire song that I didn't write. But I'm always open to it.
Yeah.
I'm never like, oh, I gotta write everything. But I'm just like, I'll just write it because I know it's gonna be cool. But I was blessed to see what it feels like for somebody. Shout out to my guy Stone, to send me a song and I have a hit. And I didn't do it. I didn't create it. It's like I just go in there, booth and recut it. That's what everybody feels like when I go to the studio. This is crazy. I need more hits, please. Where the songwriters at? Send me the songs now. The roles have reversed.
Yeah, he's busy. He's acting.
Yeah,
now.
man. An actor now. Bro.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait for the rest of the music to drop. March 14th is the deluxe version.
Yes, sir.
This tour wraps in
Tomorrow.
a day or two tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then next month, you're jumping on tour with Mario for the European leg.
Yes, we
Dude.
just getting started. We just getting started April 24th. And, man, I think the first show is in Dublin. So it's like a lot of places that I haven't been yet and I'm excited about.
That you haven't been yet.
Yes.
Wild.
This is fire. So I'm excited because my tours, you know, we normally hit like the same territories.
Yeah.
Because I'm headlining and I've been building, you know, a specific, you know, fan base in certain places. But this one, since Mario's headlining, it's kind of like I'm coming into his world. So it's totally new places, new faces. And, man, just grateful for this opportunity.
So the fact that it's a new territory for you, do nerves kick in for this?
No, sir. My show's my show. Like it or love it. That's it. I'm like, yo, if you love it, great. But if not, I don't lose stress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some people, they miss a free throw and they think about it for 3 weeks. I'm on to the next shot.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for reuniting with me. Hopefully the next one is not another 10 years.
I know, bro.
It's been way too long, man.
For sure.
But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. You guys be sure to check him out. If he's coming to your town in Europe, I mean, check him out. Obviously, check out Martin as well.
Yes.
Listen to the new album. Deluxe drops March 14th.
That's
Thanks
right.
for watching here on Front Row Live.
Yes, sir. It's easy.